everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube video. So guys, I want to start off by saying I appreciate all my subscribers. I read all your comments, I see everything, and I am so grateful to you guys for being so supportive. And I love when I hear feedback from the video. It's very motivating, and I try to answer your questions on the comment sections and on Instagram and on WhatsApp as much as possible. So guys, in today's video I'm going to be answering or telling you what it's like living as an international English show. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit of what it's like living in Ukraine as an international student. So let's get right into this video. So number one, teachers. How are the teachers' relationship towards the students? Now the truth is, everybody's experience is different, so everybody will have something different to tell you based on your experience with the teacher. So let me start off by saying that just like how we have good people and bad people in the world, that is how we have cool teachers and not so cool teachers. But of course, this is not just a Ukraine thing, this is more like a human thing, because I'm pretty sure that in every country of the world, every student will always have some teachers that they prefer. We have some teachers here that are really cool, really amazing. They're willing to go the extra mile with you. They're willing to teach you all that they know, especially when they see that you are willing to learn. And then we have some that are not like that, okay? So it's different. Every experience is different. I have met teachers that I have loved because they were patient with me. They're trying their best to be sure that I understood what they were saying. They were bombarding me with questions and work. So yes, there are teachers like that. And I've also met some teachers who did not put in the same kind of zeal. Some teachers are just there to do their thing, which is teach you, and if you want to learn or not, they're not interested, but they're here to do their work, and that's it. So yes, I have met some pretty amazing teachers. Okay, the next thing we're going to be talking about is their network, their internet, their Wi-Fi. Compared to where I'm coming from, internet and Wi-Fi is not something that is very stable back home, and you have to pay a lot of money to get your mobile data. So when you come to that aspect of students' life here, you have access to the internet 247. Wi-Fi is actually cheap, mobile data is actually cheap here. Making calls within Ukraine is actually fair. It's very fair compared to back home, but I'm sure lots of people, and I'm sure some people might not be able to relate to this because back home everything is so smooth for them. So yes, Ukraine is a developing country, but even though it's a developing country, some things are already comfortable for them. Some things are already very accessible for them, like lights. They have lights 247, internet, Wi-Fi. It's very affordable and it's always available here. My next point, number of students in a class. Now we have what is called practical classes and we have what is called lectures. So the difference is, in a practical class is like your normal class. You go to school, you sit down, you learn. Not like actual practical of doing something with your hand in the hospital. No, practical class is like you're in class, you're learning with a teacher one-on-one. Now in a practical class, it's just your group. For example, in my group we are 8. In some groups there are 9. I think the maximum number you can be in a group is 10. I haven't seen more than 10 people in a group. So imagine 10 students to a teacher. It makes learning easier because you have more communication with your teacher. There is more attention to every student, so it's very, very convenient, and it's very nice that maybe when you don't read for class and then you're praying, God, why are we so small in the class? Now the questions will go around and reach everybody. But except for those moments, it makes learning actually very convenient because we have more access with our teachers. So besides these practical classes, we have what is called a lecture class. Now a lecture class is now when you are with everybody in your set. For example, I'm in 5th course, that is 500 level for places where it's not called course, but it's called level. So I'm in 500 level, I'm in my 5th year and my 5th course, whichever one is called in your place. So, and my group is 56 minus. So in my class, I am in my practical class, it's me, 7 of my classmates, and my teacher. Now we have what is called a subgroup. My subgroup is my twin group. So for example, we have group 56, and then we have plus and we have minus. So I'm in minus. My plus group, sometimes we can have a combined class with them, but it doesn't happen all the time. Now, this is our practical class. Now, in the lecture, it's your group and other groups. For example, in the lecture, it's my group, my twin group, my brother's group, because my brother is not in my group, but he's in 500 level with me, and everybody in 5th year in the international medium. Everybody in 5th year in the international medium, with my lecture teacher in front teaching us or lecturing us with their lecture slides being projected from a projector. That's how it is We have the practical classes, which is like normal learning classes, and then we have our lecture classes, which I just explained. Okay, now the next point is weather. In other words, the weather is very bipolar in Ukraine, in the sense that it can be snowing, like seriously snowing right now, and the next 20 minutes everywhere is clear and it's like nothing happened. What? So imagine going out in the morning, you're carrying your winter jacket because it's snowing. By middle afternoon, you're holding your winter jacket in your hand. Why? Because it's hot. So the weather is very bipolar. So that is something that you have to get used to dealing with here in Ukraine. And as I've said in my previous video, please, we are not in Africa. Learn to dress for the weather, which unfortunately is bipolar. So just always wear something warm inside during summer, or always just have a jacket just in case the weather decides to, mess up. My next point. We do have hospital practicals and hospital rotations, but not as much as medical students in some countries. Not because the government or anything or the school forbids us from having practical lessons or having practical classes with the patients. No, we go to see patients, we take case history, but the truth is language, unfortunately, is a barrier. We do have practical classes, we do go to see patients, but we don't do this all the time because most of the time we can't really communicate with them. Our Ukrainian is, let me not lie, it's bad. So it's bad. So the truth is, if you really want to get, I'm going to be very honest with you, if you really want to get the best out of your student life or out of your education, try to learn the language as much as possible, but thank God for things like Google Translator, plus our teachers are there. Our teachers usually help us to communicate with the patients, but our teachers can't do this all the time. Our teachers can be with us in one place discussing with the patient, because of course our teacher is a doctor, or our teachers are doctors, so they have patients, they're talking to different people, and usually we follow them and we listen, they communicate, they tell us what to do. But this doesn't always happen all the time. You still need to learn the Ukrainian language for yourself if you want to have if you really want to get the best out of your practical lessons. Patients, at least the patients I have met so far, they've been so cool. They really want to help you learn. At least the ones that I've met, they'll be telling you, even for example, when we get to a patient, our teacher who's a doctor will tell the patient, don't tell the student what you have. Tell the student your symptoms. So the patient tells us their symptoms and we try to diagnose them. Now when they tell us, like something that happened to us, when our teacher wasn't looking, the patient was trying to help us and was telling us what he had, and it was so nice and it was so funny. And then our teacher turned on us, giving him an eye. So yes, the patients are actually quite responsive. At least the ones I have met, the patients I have met so far, they are not racist. They have been very nice, very chilled, even though unfortunately most of them have been in bad conditions because they are sick, but they are really very receptive. Personally, I've met some really amazing patients here, both kids and adults, but unfortunately because of language barrier, we do communicate, but not as perfectly as if you were talking to someone who speaks your language fluently. Now this is a con, the con being that we don't do rotations a lot. Now what is the pro of actually living or studying here as an international student? The pro is we don't have strike. We don't go on strike. I have a friend of mine, we both got into medical school the same year. We both studied medicine the same year, 2016, and in 2021 I'm about to finish my 5th year and I'm about to enter my final year. It's still in 4th year. Why? Last year we had the COVID outbreak and we went into quarantine. Now we went into quarantine, but we kept on studying here in Ukraine. We immediately switched to online classes and we kept having online classes. About them, they had to stop school because they couldn't really have this whole online classes fixed up and done. Okay. Now, besides the fact of the quarantine, another thing is they go on a lot of strikes. The universities go on strikes, their teachers go on strikes, and school will have to be put on hold to when the strike is resolved and they go back to school. Now all these strikes that put students from going to school on hold, unfortunately it's going to pay off because you will not end up graduating when you're supposed to have graduated because of the strikes. Now the pro part of it in Ukraine is we don't go on strikes. We don't experience that pause or hold in school in the middle of the semester for any reason. So when you enter the school and they say you're going to graduate at this year, if you do everything right and not get expelled, you are going to graduate when you're going to graduate. So yes, as I said, Ukraine is not perfect. No country is perfect. Ukraine definitely is one of those countries that isn't. So yes, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you found it very informative. I hope you learned a thing or two. Life as a foreigner in Ukraine, I am going to discuss in another video altogether, so this video doesn't get too long. But I hope you found this video very informative. I hope you learned something. For some of you that have been DMing some questions, I tried to answer them in this video. See you guys in my next video. Bye.